Hey, I'm gonna be showing you how to go through the character creation process for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons on Roll20, as well as several quality of life things that you may find along the way. So, without wasting any more time, let's hop into the game here. Now, I am a dungeon master technically, so I'm going to have to rejoin as player, just to keep a realistic stance here. So, this is what it's going to look like when you first join the game. You'll notice I seem to be recording audio down here. That's no good. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go up to the top right where you see this cog here. Go to settings. Scroll down, 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 down. Where it says I want to broadcast to others, video and voice, and receive from others, video and voice. You're generally going to want to disable both of these and hit reconnect. You do this because most games communicate through Discord anyway, and if you're casting like this, you are likely just going to create an echo in your chat, so that's no good. Also worth noting is if you go to here where it says player video / avatar size, and you're not playing in a game where everyone's using a webcam, you may want to set this to names only. That will hide your images and show a lot more of the board for you. So, once you are done with those two things, you're going to want to actually go to your journal, which should be the second tab up here. Find a character sheet allotted to you, and at first you're just going to see literally nothing here. You're going to want to click on the character sheet tab. Now, if you're offered this, if you're starting at level 1, it may be easier to use the character mancer. That will kind of handhold you through the character creation process. That doesn't always happen though, so say you want to start at level 3 or something, you're going to want to edit sheet directly. That's what I'm going to be showing you here. So, this is what it looks like. Don't be daunted by all the buttons. So, let me check here. Okay, so, you're going to want to roll stats. Now, when you roll stats, you want to enter what's called a dice macro into the chat, right? So, I'm going to type here 4d6 d1 with the second d standing for drop. This will roll 4d6s and drop the lowest result, which is the standard, macro for rolling stats on Dungeons and Dragons characters. You want to copy this, or at least just paste that 7 times, or not 7 times, 6 times, like so. This will roll a stat array for you. Now, I could take these stats, maybe I'm stuck with them. Sometimes Dungeon Masters are nice and they'll let you roll twice, so I'll roll again. Okay, so you're going to want to take your pick between one of these 2 rows of stats called arrays. I'm going to go with the first one because 15s are nice. Maybe write them down somewhere to make it easier, in order as well, so that way it's easy to keep organized. I seem to have a bug going on here with the display, so I'll just write them here. 15, 14, 14, 10, 9, 7. That's my stat array. So let's say I want to play a warlock. Now warlocks are half buffy casters that use charisma, right? So I'm going to want to make my primary stat charisma. Come down here, make that a 15. Then say next stat maybe constitution. Everyone loves constitution. Put it there. Next stat wisdom. And then after that, I have a 10, a 9, and a 7. So say I don't like strength, drop that to 9. And maybe I'm playing a dumb warlock. I'll put that to 7. So this will allocate your stats for you. Now that's out of the way, I'm going to get rid of those real quick. Go up to up here where it says class, subclass, race, all that. Simply highlight this, choose the class you're going to be playing. In my case, warlock. We'll say we're starting at level 3 so I can show you a few extra things. Now this will automatically do a couple of things. Most noticeable is your saving throws. You'll automatically get proficiencies in the ones appropriate to your class. Also, if you're playing a spellcaster such as a warlock, your spells tab should, in this case it seems to have bugged out and didn't do it, automatically include what your spell slots are, like how many slots of each you have. It did seem to automatically make my spellcasting ability charisma, which is correct. So, after that, you'll want to select your proficiencies. Now, every class offers proficiencies. You need to know what they are. I recommend having an extra tab open during the entire character creation process that has everything you need to know about your class. It will make your life a lot easier. So, Warlocks can choose Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Let's just say I go Nature, Religion. Simply tick the boxes associated with those stats, and you will gain proficiency in them. Nature, Religion. Also worth noting, basically everything on this sheet, if you click it, it will roll. So say I want to roll a nature check, it will appear in chat like so. Makes life easier. Everything's automated. The proficiency is applied and everything. So after that, you're going to want to do your background. Now, most backgrounds do something very simple. They give you 2 skill proficiencies, they give you a tool set or a language, and oftentimes a feature. A lot of dungeon masters will let you create your own background, so to speak, and let you just choose freely. So if that were the case, I would want to, I don't know, pick acrobatics and performance. Just because I'm allowed those with a custom background. Would be acrobatics and performance. Maybe, I don't know, trapeze artist. And then I would want to choose a tool proficiency or a language maybe. Now, for languages, I can simply hit this cross here on the other proficiencies languages box, type in what languages my character knows. So let's say I pick Elvish. Voila, it's right there. I can even show what I know in the chat. If I wanted to add a proficiency, that gets a little slightly more complicated. So if you look towards the top right again, you'll find this little italicized I. That's called the compendium. This is going to be your best friend during the character creation process. Now, you can type in just about anything pertinent to 5e in this compendium, and it will give you results. So let's say I want smith tools. I can throw in my proficiency for smith tools right there. It will do it automatically. I can say I start with smith tools for some reason. I can grab the item, put it in. It'll put it in my inventory, weight included, all done. Now, when you put in a tool proficiency, it will say like query right here. That's because not every skill proficiency or not every tool proficiency is using the same stat between different dungeon masters. So maybe some dungeon masters like to use intelligence for smith's tools, others like to use strength. I'll say we're in a game where we use strength, so what I'll want to do is when I hover over it, it'll create a cog. I click the cog, go down to query attribute and set that to strength. Voila. Now I just have to click it. Boom, I roll a smith's tools check. How neat. So, after you have done your background, you are going to want to enter your class features. This is pretty important, obviously. So, you'll find your features and traits box here. It's in the bottom right. It's also huge. You click the cross to add something. You'll type in the name of the feature. In this case, let's grab Warlock's Pact Magic, right? I can simply copy every detail about that feature from my other tab. Name it Pact Magic. Source, this comes from a class, so class source, and Warlock is the class from which it comes. Now right here you can find a description box, paste in what the feature does, and ta-da, you have a feature there. You'll click the clog to close it again. Now the first thing you might notice is that this is like an intimidating wall of text, and that might get in the way of other features. So if you click on the name or anywhere in the description of a feature, it will minimize it. Pretty neat, right? Also, if you hover over it, you'll see it creates a speech bubble and a cog. The cog is used to go back into edit mode. The speech bubble will create a thing in the chat to display what that feature does. So generally whenever you want to use a feature, you'll want to hover it, click the speech bubble icon. Everyone sees what you're doing. No confusion. I can have several features as a warlock, especially as you start to level. Eldritch Invocations, for example. Individual things like that, you're going to want to put them in your features box anyway, even though they technically might not be considered feats. This is just that way you have constant access to what abilities your character has and can deploy them at a whim. So, Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do after that is fill out your inventory, right? So let's say I go to my classes page, I find my equipment, and I don't want to start with gold, I want to start with equipment. Much more likely. Anyway, you're going to want to choose your things. So let's say I want a light crossbow and 20 bolts instead of a simple weapon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply type light crossbow in the compendium. Don't be lazy. Throw one into the character sheet. As you can see, I already did it earlier. Let me delete that. Now, this will do two things. It will create a light crossbow in your inventory, weight included, and it will create an attack macro for it in the attacks and spellcasting tab of your sheet. So, let's say I click this, it will roll attack for me in the chat. The left, it'll roll 2d20s in case you have advantage or disadvantage. Typically, you'll want to take the one on the left. You'll click on the name of the weapon attack in the chat to roll your damage. There you go, 6 piercing. Oof. Now, you're going to want to continue filling out your inventory. So, say a component pouch and an arcane focus. I'll choose an arcane focus, which is not in the compendium, matter of fact. So, I simply hit the cross. It'll create a blank thing in my inventory. I could type in the name, and it'll just put it there. If I want to ever get rid of something, and this goes for everything that has a cross and lock, like you see here, I click the lock, it'll apply this thing. I can click the trash can icon and get rid of something. If I want to reorganize it, I can click the 3 lines and drag it around. When I'm done doing either of those things, I'll want to hit the lock again, it'll go back to normal. So, let's say I choose a Dungeoneer's pack instead of a Scholar's pack. Type it in the compendium, throw it in my sheet. Leather armor, any simple weapon, and 2 daggers. Simply type those in your compendium, throw them in your sheet. It's that easy. Any simple weapon, I don't know, maybe a quarterstaff. So, you'll fill your inventory. It will, any weapons you put in here, it will give you your appropriate attack macros. Now, filling out your spells, you do that in much the same way. So you'll want to come up towards the top of your sheet over here where it says the spells tab. Gonna want to click that. And most spells in 5e, not all of them, but most, are also in the compendium. So let's say Firebolt. Okay, to throw it in here, it'll create the Firebolt cantrip. I can highlight it, it'll create a cog. This will let me go into edit mode. We're not going to do that right now. Nothing to edit. But I can click Firebolt. Just like a weapon, it will roll automatically in chat. Click the name, 10 fire damage. Good stuff. So, I actually don't know by heart what kind of spells Warlocks start with, so maybe I want to throw shield in there. Not the item, that's the item shield. My bad, my bad. The spell shield. Dragging anything from the compendium onto your sheet, it technically doesn't matter what tab you're on, it will still work. Shield is still here. I can click that, it'll cast shield. This is what a spell card looks like in chat. Plus 5 AC. I'm cool. And whenever you cast a spell, you'll want to click the down arrow to reduce your spell slot in your spells list. Don't cheat. Or set them back to normal after a rest. Whatever. So, for many things, you'll have dice in the description of something, but it will not automatically roll that. So, say you get a spell. In this case, I'll just show you using Firebolt. Set it to spell card. If it deploys a spell card instead of an attack macro, like the difference between shield and Firebolt here, well, this is what a Firebolt spell card looks like. It gives you the description of the spell. If you're a cool kid, you can go into edit mode, go into the spell, and you can type a dice macro like I showed earlier into the spell. click it, and it will roll. So that is extremely convenient for a great number of spells in the game, like Distant Whispers with, what is it, 3d8, or Burning Hands with d6s. Simply type 2 square brackets, number of dice, number of sides on the dice, another 2 square brackets, and if that's in the description of something, it will deploy in chat whenever you click it. This is pretty convenient stuff. So, next step, I already showed you how to attack, right? But there is a little trick you can do if you go to the cog here. Right here it says auto damage roll. Don't auto roll damage. That's a drop down menu. You can set it to auto roll damage and crit. So once I do this, I don't have to click the name of the attack macro anymore. I could just say I click my light crossbow. Damage is rolled automatically. Some dungeon masters don't like this, but most don't mind, and it, saves you a click. So might as well do it. Your HP values, well, the obvious thing is that they go here. So for Warlock, it would be, they use a D8, so it would be 8 plus my Constitution modifier of 2. Set that to 10. But I'm level 3, so I'm going to have more than that. What I want to do, say I roll for health, I'll put in 2d8 here. I'll get a 5 and a 3. Add my Constitution modifier to that, so that'll create a 7, put me at 17, and a 5, put me at 22. This is more or less just a way of showing you that chat is actually a calculator. I can put in 8 times 10. It'll do it. So whenever you do have to manually roll something, you can use chat that way. In this case, I showed you using HP, but you could use it for any number of things. XP is especially easy to do that way. Automating irregular AC. So this doesn't really apply to a Warlock, but say I'm playing a Barbarian or a Monk and I have the unarmored defense feature. I can go to my cog. In this tab here, this middle box, armor class tracking, I can set this to custom. It'll put 10, and then I can use these drop down menus to create custom AC. So say I'm a monk, I can create that to Dex and Wisdom. It will automatically calculate my armor class based on those stats. It'll be 10 plus my Dex plus my Wisdom. Should be 12. Take that off. Put it back to automatic since I am a Warlock wearing armor and I'm not a monk. Okay, so here comes the neat part. For role-playing purposes, you have a whole tab here of just empty space you can type in. I can put in my backstory here, I could put in any gear descriptions, I can put in any backup traits I have, allies, appearance. All this stuff is here, and at the top you'll find, like, general dimensions of the character, like their age, let's say 16, size, always medium. All this stuff, right? But this is private to you. Your character sheet cannot be viewed by other players in most circumstances. So if you want to hide your bio, yeah, sure, go ahead and put it here. But if you want it to be visible to other players, you can go to the bio and info tab up here. Remember where it's blank? Towards the top, you can hit edit. From here, I can change my name. Let's say my name is Name. I can write my whole backstory here. Got orphaned as a kid. Now, any other player that has my character sheet in their journal will not be able to access my character sheet tab, but they will be able to see my bio and info tab. Thusly, they will see my background if I put it here. Oh yeah, one quality of life thing that might save you a lot of time is if you go up to where your name is, like right here, and you double click, it'll minimize your sheet. You can drag it around, double click it again to reopen it. This will save you time because it is a lot easier than say you close your sheet every time you need to do something else. You don't have to go all the way back to your journal, open up your sheet again, go to the correct tab. You don't have to do all that. You could just minimize it, go around, do your business. Whenever you need to open it again, double click, voila. Nice stuff. So after determining where you want to put your bio information, you're going to want your character image. Now, a lot of people seem to forget that this is a virtual board, which means everyone can have tokens, and those tokens can be freaking anything they want as long as it's 2D. So every character will want an image. Now, what you want to do to apply an image is go to Edit, just like I just showed you. Here you can find Avatar, drop file. Let's bust this open. Let's say I choose this Alchemist here. Give it a second to load. Voila. That is now displayed here. It's pretty neat stuff. But let's say I drag it onto the board. Let's say I drag my token onto the board from my journal, the same way I would do with my compendium to my sheet, from the journal to the board. It kind of creates this awful stretched thing of that image that has to fit in a square. That's not very aesthetically pleasing, so the next thing I will show you is how to make a token. Now, you will kind of have to work with your Dungeon Master on this. However, making one is actually all on you. So, let's say I go to this empty, well, not so empty tab here. I go to this place called rolladvantage.com/tokenstamp. Gives me this little editor here. Now, I can go to choose image, find the image that I wanted to use for my character, it'll put it here. I can then apply a border. You're going to want a border. I could change the color of that border. Do whatever. When I'm done, I want to hit download. And I'm going to want to take this image and throw it at my Dungeon Master on whatever communication platform you use. So, let me open this here. Go to where you found the, or where you saved the image. Yeet it at that Dungeon Master. Pardon my horrible meme. Now, what comes next is actually on the Dungeon Master's part. So, you, as a player, simply, all you need to do now is create your personality traits, blah blah blah. Fill out basically anything that was not automated during your character creation process. A lot of the time this includes speed, obviously your race, say I'm a human. Oh, and a subclass, you're going to want to put that down too, so maybe I'm a Hexblade, I don't know. Hexbold, Hexblade. Haxblade, I'm great. Basically just documentation. Everything mechanically needed for your character to run, though, that is done. So, I need to shoot something with my crossbow. Got a button for that. Stab something with a dagger. Got a button for that. I go to my spells sheet. Want to cast shield. I have a button for it. Need to roll any skill check. Got a button for it. Save. Button for it. Everything is automatic. So, if you're at this point as a player, your job is done. What I'm going to show you next, and what you may wish to show your Dungeon Master, is how to create a token from the image that you just sent them. So I'm going to rejoin this game as a Game Master. This will give me the permission I need to do this. And what I want to do is I want to go to the art library. Fun fact, this is unique for Dungeon Masters. My library, upload. I want to go find the image that my player would have just sent me. In this case, the orange token with good old, what's his name, Abraham in it? Maybe this green one. I don't know where I put the other one. This will put it in my art library here. What I can do is I can drag this onto the board. As you can see, this is much prettier than the weird stretched image that you'll get if you just throw a square on there. You want to click this, go to the cog, and this will present you with this here menu. You want to set this to represent the character. Show their nameplate. This is technically optional. You'll want it to display their hit points as well as their armor class. Whether you use the third bar for something is entirely up to you, but a lot of the time that bar will see no usage. If you go to advanced, you can get player permissions. If you put name to check on the C box here, that will enable other players who don't have technical permission to use that character to see the nameplate on the token. So you see where it says name here, that little nameplate. Other players won't be able to see that actually unless this box is ticked. And also bar 1. This one's a little bit more optional because if this bar is ticked, that also means that all the other players will be able to see their HP bar, which you may or may not want. Most of the time I do allow that, but some Dungeon Masters like to leave it as a mystery. You're going to hit Save Changes. This token will remember everything you told it. In this case, hit points and armor class. What you want to do is you want to go to that player's character sheet, hit Edit, select the token you just made, and hit Use Selected Token. Now, what this will do for that player is really convenient, and it'll also save a lot of time while you're running the game. If they drag their character onto the board to create a token, it will be automated. So instead of that like literally useless square image, they now have a functioning token that shows important values that you need to know in the heat of battle. They can also just hit delete to delete them. Easy stuff. Another thing you might want to show to your players is if you click one of these bubbles, you can obviously reassign what it is. But say you're taking a bunch of instances of damage and you don't want to do all the math on the spot, right? So let's say I get shot for 10 HP. I can hit minus 10. It'll deduct my HP by 10 automatically. Let's say I get healed, plus 8. It's easy. Saves time. So once you have all this done, once your player has done what I just showed them for the first bulk of this video, and you have created the token for them, their character is mechanically set, ready to go. Once you have everything optimized like I've showed you in this video, it will save you a lot of time while you're running the game. It'll make combat a lot smoother, it'll make checks a lot smoother. It'll basically stop people from ever having to roll something automatically, and that can slow the game down. So, on the whole, it's pretty neat. Now, thank you for watching, and enjoy your adventures.